Greetings all and welcome to part 4 of the Elliott Wave 101 course. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel then please do so, and that way you won't miss any future updates as more material is published. If you found this video helpful then please give it a like and don't forget to check out more course videos. In this video we're going to take a look at the rules that govern the correct identification of the impulsive structure. So from the Elliott wave principle, these are some important points. There are only a few simple rules for interpreting impulses properly. A rule is so called because it governs all waves to which it applies. A rule should never be disregarded. Analysts who routinely break any of the rules detailed in this section are practicing some form of analysis other than that guided by the wave principle. These rules have great practical utility in correct counting. So this is important as it's the rules and then the guidelines as laid down by Elliot that govern the effective ability of the wave principle to analyse markets. If you break the rules, you're really letting yourself down, and it's likely your analysis will end up incorrect. So these are the rules that govern the formation of an impulse. An impulse always subdivides into 5 waves. Wave 1 always subdivides into an impulse or rarely a diagonal. Wave 3 always subdivides into an impulse. Wave 5 always subdivides into an impulse or a diagonal. Wave 2 always subdivides into a zigzag, flat or combination. Wave 4 always subdivides into a zigzag, flat, triangle or combination. And I've highlighted these 3 rules because these are really important. They're almost the golden rules of Elliott wave. Wave 2 never moves beyond the start of wave 1. Wave 3 always moves beyond the end of wave 1. And wave 3 is never the shortest wave. Wave 4 never moves beyond the end of wave 1, and if it does it's a diagonal as we've discussed, and never are waves 1, 3 and 5 all extended. So let's run through those rules and see what they mean. Rule 1 states that an impulse will always subdivide into 5 waves, as we have seen in previous examples. If the internal structure is not in 5 waves, the larger structure is not an impulse. Rule 2 states that wave 1 will always subdivide into an impulse or a diagonal, but diagonals in the wave 1 position are not common, so you will not see them all that often. Remember that a diagonal will have an overlap between wave 1 and wave 4. Rule 3 states that wave 3 will always subdivide into an impulse. If we don't have a clear 5-wave substructure within wave 3, then the entire structure is not an impulse. Rule 4 states that wave 5 always subdivides into an impulse or a diagonal. Diagonals in the wave 5 position are not uncommon things that you will find in the market. Rule 5 states that wave 2 always subdivides into a zigzag, flat or combination. It's important to note that triangles cannot be in the wave 2 position. We haven't moved into combinations as yet, but as the name suggests, sometimes we get a combination of smaller corrective patterns that link together to make a larger pattern at the next degree. Combinations are marked as WXY rather than ABC, but we will cover this in more detail in future videos. Rule 6 states that wave 4 always subdivides into a zigzag, a flat, a triangle or a combination. Triangles are not allowed in wave 2, but they are common in wave 4. Now can you spot which patterns are combined in this example of a sideways combination? If you can't, don't worry, we'll cover that more in future videos. Rules 7, 8 and 9 can be considered the golden rules of Elliott wave. They are: wave 2 never moves beyond the start of wave 1. Wave 3 always moves beyond the end of wave 1, and wave 3 is never the shortest wave. As has been stated before, wave 3 doesn't have to be the longest, it just cannot be the shortest, and that goes for any motive structure. Rule 10 states that wave 4 never moves beyond the end of wave 1. If it does, then we're looking for a diagonal, as has been previously covered. Rule 11 states that never are waves 1, 3 and 5 all extended. To help explain what this means, I will provide this quote from the Elliott wave principle. Most impulses contain what Elliott called an extension. An extension is an elongated impulse with exaggerated subdivisions. The vast majority of impulses contain an extension in one and only one of their three actionary subwaves. The rest either contain no extension or an extension in both subwaves 3 and 5. This means that out of the actionary waves, either waves 1, waves 3 or waves 5, at least one of those waves will be noticeably longer than the others. Usually this is wave 3, but it can be 1 or 5. The point being made here is you have to look for one of the waves in an impulse to be extended. If all the waves are relatively the same length, then the chances are it's not an impulse. Stay tuned for the next video where we will look at the rules governing diagonals. Thanks for watching.